fingers, we're going to learn how to put our ligature and our reed onto our mouthpiece. So we're going to get to the flat part of the reed that has the words on it, and we're going to put it up against the flat part of the clarinet mouthpiece. So we're going to get the tip of the reed, which we don't touch, and try and line it up as best as possible with the tip of the mouthpiece. When we hold it against, we're going to use our thumb and our index fingers to kind of move it around. We're going to try and get the size of a hair of the black part of the mouthpiece at the top, just like that. You can barely see a little bit of the top part. And I'm using my thumb to kind of keep my reed in place. And it's nice and even and flat up against the mouthpiece. Now here's a close-up of the black part of the mouthpiece that you should see slightly above the reed, about a hair size. Next, I'm going to grab my black Rovner leather ligature, and I'm going to unscrew the screw. And if you don't know how to do that, please check out our other video. I'm going to screw it just so it's loose, but not to where it comes off all the way, because it can. Next, I'm going to grab my reed and clarinet mouthpiece. I'm going to hold on to the reed, make sure it's in place with my thumb, and I'm going to slide the ligature over with the screw always on the right side. Regardless of what mouthpiece you have, the screw is always going to go on the right side. And I'm going to use these lines that I talked about earlier to guide the ligature. The bottom of the ligature is going to go to the bottom line on the mouthpiece. If your reed moves out of place, that's fine. Use your thumbs and index fingers to adjust. In the front of the ligature, you should see these two dots where you can see a little bit of the yellow part of the reed on either side. Once you have it lined up with the bottom lines and the top line, you're going to get that screw and you're going to tighten it where it's just snug. See how I can still turn one more time? That's just enough, but it's not loose. Once you got that, everything's lined up, you're good to go. Next, I'm going to grab my silver bonade ligature that has two screws on it, and I'm going to loosen the screws just enough so it's ready to go over the mouthpiece and reed, but not so much to where they fall off. See how it's loose enough, but they're not off? We're good to go with that. We're going to grab our reed and our mouthpiece, and we're going to make sure it's in line. We're going to carefully, with the screws on the right side, always, regardless of what ligature you have, screws will always go on the right. We're going to carefully slide it over and line it up with those engraved lines on the sides of the mouthpiece, the bottom of the ligature to the bottom line. And we're going to kind of line it up to where it's even in front. On the bag, you should also see a circle, and it kind of goes over the logo there. Once you have that, and it's low enough, if it's a little hard or it's sliding up, you might have to loosen your screws up a little more. Once you have that, you're going to tighten the screws. You're going to turn it to the right. The bottom screw will be pretty snug, where you can still kind of turn a little bit, about a quarter. And then the top screw is going to be a little less snug than that. Once you have them ready to go, the reed should not slide around. If you had to adjust, make sure you use your index fingers and thumb, and then you're ready to go.